There's a new political party on the block. Former DA leader Mmusi Maimane launched the Build One South Africa party in Soweto yesterday. He aims to run as a presidential candidate in the 2024 elections.
Well, Maimane once tweeted that parties are part of the problem in South Africa and not the solution. He accused them of not being accountable to the votes, to the voters rather. So for reaction on this, let's get into conversation with political analyst Brutus Malada. Brutus, thank you so much for your time this morning. I mean, look, when it comes to Mmusi Maimane, as well as his political career, one would say that he exercises some kind of political coherence. He understands the voters, he understands the demographic of South Africa. But I wonder, does this political party aim to actually introduce anything new?
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers. Firstly, I want to make a point that we are a country in crisis. We are a failed state. Show me a country in which you can spend 11 hours without electricity. So what has been broken by politics will be fixed by politics. And the new kid in the bloc, led by Mmusi Maimane, has seen an opportunity because South Africa is a land of opportunities. And there is no messiah that is going to come from somewhere to fix South African problems. The South African problems will be fixed by South Africans who take responsibility to participate in politics. And Mmusi Maimane's return in politics must be welcomed. But there is nothing really new that Mmusi Maimane is offering. If you listen to the presentation he made yesterday, he's regurgitating the same issues, and obviously he has to talk about the same issues. The problem is we don't have solutions. If I were to ask South Africans today and say, if Mmusi Maimane was to be elected president tomorrow, do you think he will fix ESCOM? I don't think that a lot of South Africans would, out of what he presented yesterday, believe that he can fix ESCOM. Would Mmusi Maimane fix the collapsed education system if he was to be president tomorrow? I don't think so. So there is still a lot of work for him to do to build the confidence and the trust of South Africans. And he must do two things: policies, and he must be surrounded by people who are credible around him.
You actually raise a great point there with your final point, and essentially what you say he must do is surround himself with people that are credible. Now, he calls this a political structure. Actually, we keep calling it a political party, but he says it's a political structure. It's a movement, that is encompassing of everybody that is involved in their communities already. So he says he wants to take all the leaders in all of their communities, each and every community all around the country, and put them in parliament. That's his cabinet. That's his government. It's the man on the ground that is already doing and fixing their own community. And now you're saying that will Mmusi Maimane be able to fix ESCOM? He's essentially saying that the man, Morena, in his community is the one that is going to fix ESCOM. How realistic and possible is that? He wants to bring community leaders into parliament to fix this country's problems. Is that even possible?
Well, he wants to sound to be unique with that model that he's proposing, but it works more in local politics. Because in local government, you are actually dealing with local problems of fixing a street light, fixing potholes, cutting of grass around the streets. So those are the responsibilities that ward councillors take up with their municipalities. So hence you have political parties that are unable to win the wards, such as the EFF. Because it doesn't field credible leaders in the community. So the communities do not believe in the individuals that the EFF sends as ward councillors. But you have political parties like the ANC, like the DA, that get votes for ward councillors. So a system that Mmusi is proposing works very well at a local level. At national, you are dealing with policies. So Mmusi needs to say his party will do 1, 2, 3 to fix education at a national level. It will not be fixed at local level. It will be fixed at national level. So he needs to tell South Africans, this is the policy of BOSA. This, when it comes to ESCOM, we propose the following things to be done in order to fix ESCOM. It will not be done by the individual member that he is recruiting to send to Parliament. Such a member helps in dealing with the constituency issues in the particular area, and that system works well for local government. For national, he will need high-profile people that can win the national vote, credible leadership, and it's also about the brand itself and whether people believe in the brand of the party.
You know, I want us to hone in on the brand of the political party. Now, Mmusi Maimane comes from what would be a democratic alliance that was supposed to represent a new kind of South Africa where non-racialism was the top of agenda, you know, merit and equitable distribution of resources was an agenda which seems to have taken on a different turn given the exodus of the number of black people within the Democratic Alliance. He's now come out from that very same kind of murky waters where he said, I could not stay there any longer. He's now taking up his own political party. But with him not being able to stay in the Democratic Alliance and be able to change and fix a system within the DA might have cost him those who would support, you know, his ability to lead. If he couldn't lead within the DA, where you really have to tackle the issue of non-racialism and you have to tackle the issue of triple BEE, affirmative action and the like, you leave that, you start something your own. Can he actually get the support of the greater discourse of South Africa? Can he get people rallying behind him and saying, we see that it didn't work with what you wanted to do in the DA, but we can see it working with what you want to do with your political party?
Yeah, hence I'm saying that for him to win the support of South Africans, he needs to give them hope and trust and confidence. And to do that, as a person, Mmusi is well known. But as a party, we don't know much about it. So he will need to do these two things that I mentioned. One, he needs to be surrounded by credible people that can give South Africans that confidence and hope that these are credible South Africans who will be able to champion these issues that he was not able to do when he was a leader of the DA. Secondly, he needs to pronounce the specific things about the policy stances of his political party. So far, we have had the broad thrust of the issues that he wants to tackle as a presidential candidate for this BOSA party. But he still needs to be able to thresh out those policy nuances and say how different is he from the ANC? How different is he from the DA? And how different is he from the EFF and HNSA? So that journey, we still need to observe whether there is something new that he is bringing to the political landscape in South Africa. But I don't, from what he presented yesterday, there's still a lot that he needs to explain to South Africans.